So you never wanted a regular type life.
The fuck is that? Barbecues and ball games?
Yeah.
Nothing changes if nothing changes, man. That in order for something to change, there needs to be change.
Hey, look, let me guess. New year, new you, right? New year, new you. You've been saying that every year, but it's always new year, same you. You know, I just don't understand why you go every year remaining the same when the person that you are today has just been destroying your life. You're mentally killing yourself every year and you don't even realize it. I mean, it's time for you to look yourself in the mirror and make some change before it's too late. But if you cool with being like that, it is what it is. It's your life. Be safe, though.
They say that true hell is when the person that you are meets the person you could have been.
To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
My teacher said to me, young man, if you will change, everything will change for you. If you will get better, everything will get better for you.
And so the best way to hit next year's goals is to not wait until next year to work on them. It's to start now. If you feel like you need a special occasion to begin making your life better, it shows that you don't think today is worth improving.
See, the point is, you don't know how much future you've got. What's gone is gone. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Some of you have had divorces. Some of you have probably had bankruptcies. Some of you have had terrible things happen in the past. But what's gone is gone. It's in the past. And to spend your time focusing on the past is to spend the only thing that you've got, and that's what's right here, right now, because the sand never stops running. This is all we've got. And to spend your time now thinking of what happened there is making absolute certain that the future is going to be the same as the past.
If you'll change your philosophy, if you'll change your habits, if you'll refine your thinking, if you'll change and accept some new disciplines, if you'll turn the corner where you've been in the past, go for a new life for the future, he said all kinds of remarkable things will happen for you if you will change.
What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could not fail, what one thing would you set as a goal for yourself? Because sometimes answering that question will tell you the one thing that you've been put on this earth to accomplish.
To alleviate fear, you do not alleviate what causes fear. You help alleviate the reaction to what causes fear.
Life's not a spectator sport. If watching is all you're going to do, then you're going to watch your life go by without you.
75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years. 75 winters, 75 springtimes, 75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste them. Get your head out of the rat race and forget about the superficial things that preoccupy your existence and get back to what's important now. Right now, this very second.
Thought that maybe settling for mediocrity was a good idea because it was safe. Don't do it. Take a chance, take a risk, find that passion, rekindle it, fall in love all over again. It's really worth it.
So I know why you go on Instagram. I know why because you just have the time. You have the time because you don't want to put that time into bettering oneself.
The next year is going to go by whether you're doing something about your life or not.
Write down what you're trying to get done. Write down what you need to get done on a long-term basis and what you need to get done on a short-term basis. And write off a checklist. Force yourself. Be accountable.
What do you really, really want from your life? If you had no limitations, if you had all the money and all the time and all the talents and all the abilities, if you could do or be or have anything, what would you really want in your life? And write them down. And then what I encourage people to do is make a list of 10 things, 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next year or so, and ask this question. If I could only accomplish one goal on this list, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on my life?
So I had made the decision that I would either die or I would succeed. And so I didn't know when it would happen. I just figured if I continued, so So if there's one thing for the audience, if anyone who's going through it right now, like one of the thing that I would, the refrain, the repeated message that I had to myself over and over again was, I cannot lose if I do not quit.
So it's a new year, but is it really gonna be a new you? I mean, what's gonna make this year any different? I mean, what's gonna keep you committed? What's gonna make you stay dedicated to that mission? Anybody can talk it, but the question is, can you live it? The question is, can you be consistent? It's easy to make a decision, but what's hard is staying loyal to your vision. What's hard is waking up every day to go get it. Ain't nothing in this world given. So if you want to make a change, get outside your comfort zone and stop living inside your limits. Stop playing with your life. Get up and go fight for your dreams, because anything is possible to the heart that believes. You gotta believe. You gotta feel that purpose in your soul, because too many people set goals, but they never put in the work to see their dreams unfold. That can't be you. It's time to break through. It's time for you to stay loyal to what you said you were gonna do.
New year, new you. Been hearing a lot of that, but it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a new year, but guess what? It's the old you. You're the only you got, and you're the only you're ever gonna have. So you better make yourself into what you want to be. And you do that by staying on the path of discipline.
Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X. Because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. And so in reframing that, then it's something that I can win or measure myself against every day in real time throughout the day, which is how hard am I working? Because that is the goal.
That is really what it is. It's like this understanding that you've f***ed up and that you've committed to this ideology, committed to this lifestyle, these choices that you make, this rigid pattern of behavior that is ultimately not serving you, and you realize the flaw in it, that you could have been something greater. And then you see someone who has done it, who's gotten better and is healthier, and you realize like, oh no, what have I done?
What do you wish you'd done before you died? I don't know. Nothing. You were to die right now, how would you feel about your life?
I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything good about my life. Is that what you want to hear me say? Fine.
How bad you really want it? And to be real with you, when you're serious about change, you don't need a new year, because all you need is a new moment, so own it. It's time to kill those old ways. Because when you're focused on your vision and committed to your purpose, you don't have to chase money, because dedication pays. But those weak habits gotta break. That mindset reshaped. You gotta believe the odds are beatable even when the odds say it's impossible. That's what I call faith. And that's what it's gonna take. 24/7, 365, you gotta live it, breathe it, be it every single day. Conquer any challenge that gets in the way. And remember, it's more about what you do and less about what you say. Every moment matters. When you realize 150,000 people die every night, ain't none of this promised. Ain't none of this guaranteed. So the question I wanna ask you is this. When you fight your last fight, what's the legacy that you gonna leave? Stop playing with your life.
I'm my own medic, my own doctor. I am my mental coach, my nutritionist, my doctor. If you do the right things, you're gonna be better than other persons.
The real message is we all started from nowhere. I mean, we all had bullshit jobs. We all felt like losers. But through time and effort, you build a stronger human.
Think about how many years, months, hours, seconds, days, all that shit you have wasted on people who suck the fucking life out of you. Today's a good day for you to go through and can those motherfuckers. Can those motherfuckers who only call you when they fucking need something. Can those motherfuckers who can't get over shit, who continue to bring up shit from the past, who can't move forward. Life is short. Life is precious. Spend that time with the people you love, the people you want to give that time to. Real friends, real family. Everybody else, they're just sucking up the air you breathe. You need that motherfucker to be hard.
In order to be in a master, you have to be the
fool. If you're not a fool, you're not learning.
You can't be a master and become a master. You have to make the mistakes to become a master.
100%.
You have to be a fool to even think you want to reach that level.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. It's in your mind right now. But you don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like getting up. You don't feel like doing the work. You don't feel like working hard. And if you don't feel like working hard, if you don't feel like getting up, then you better feel like losing. You better feel like getting weaker. Because that's what's gonna happen if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So get up and go get it done.
The difference between a dream and a goal is a timeline and accountability.
Very simple method. It was developed by W. Clement Stone when he was a young man. He built a fortune of $500 million, and this is one of the central principles of his life. It's simply this. Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now. The key to overcoming procrastination is to develop a sense of urgency. Be the kind of person who gets things done quickly. Be the kind of person who launches fast on a task.
Everybody just wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants to sit on the couch. I don't want to go outside, it's cold. I don't want to do this, it's hot. Like, you've got to do things that you don't want to do because you show your body that your mind is the boss. Your mind is telling your body what to do, and then you have control.
If you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
Here's the big challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got.
Laziness is something that has to do with you. You're not connected to something deep enough. You don't feel the necessity. You don't feel the devil at your heels. You don't feel the fact that you could very well die tomorrow that will impel you to get something done. There's no necessity behind it. And the human animal, the way we were created, is when we feel pressure, we feel the necessity to get things done. We can move mountains. But when that pressure, like almost like a barometric pressure, releases and we don't feel the need to get something done, we can become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create the need to get things done.
Why do that much? Why go that far? Why try to become everything? That's a good question, why? And you're the only one personally that can answer that question for yourself. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. And if the why is powerful, the how is easy.
You got to have somebody, whether it's yourself or a friend or somebody, that's going to say, look, did you do what you said you were going to do by this time? And if you don't, hold your feet to the fire. Because, I mean, just sitting around dreaming someday, you know, someday I'm going to get a different job. Someday I'm going to change this. Well, someday ain't a day of the week. You know, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Look on your calendar. Some days not on there. So you got to say, okay, I'm going to take this small step by here, this small step by there, this small step by there. And then pretty soon, you know, we don't leap tall buildings in a single bound. We take it a floor at a time.
It's incremental changes over the long haul, and the way you have to look at it is if these two boats are going in a parallel direction and one of them just shifts 5 degrees, over the course of time, this boat is going to be in a far different place than the other boat that's going the same way it was always going.
You got to have the courage. Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? Do you have the courage? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. be normal, and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything He put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you neutralize your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to go where you've never gone before. For some of you, it took courage to come to this conference. It takes courage to get you outside of the bar. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. People don't talk about people that don't win. If you win, they're going to talk about you. Do you have the courage to stand there though the storms keep raging and the people get to talking and you stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around? Do you have the courage?
When you feel like giving up, don't. When you thinking about giving up, don't. When it look like you ain't gonna make it, keep going. When they tell you you can't, come on, man, who are they? When they tell you to put all your stuff back on your desk, don't do that, man. Don't do that. When they tell you you're not funny, you're not gonna make it, don't believe them, man. Don't believe them. You got to be relentless.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. Mm-hmm. If you don't change, then nothing's going to change. You want to feel better? Do something different.
Interaction with boldness. So most people are just too timid in life. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of making mistakes. I never try anything. I never have to put up with criticism. Never have to put up with people scrutinizing me. So most people end up being too shy, too timid in life. And you've got to get over that. You've got to learn how to be bold with your ideas and with your actions. So I try to make each one of my books kind of a statement and impress people with like a strong idea and not be afraid of criticism and not being afraid of controversy. So boldness has gotten me through life, and I think it's critically important in this day and age.
The fear of failure. All right, you have to realize that when you are afraid to go, when you are afraid to go and become and do the thing, you are creating a life of automatic loss. All right? You cannot win, you cannot become, you cannot build this dream that you have, this life, without actually going. And a lot of people nowadays, they like to consume data, they like to read books, they like to listen to podcasts, they like to hire coaches, they do all of the things except the thing that actually produces the result, which is actual execution.
Forget about it. If you think it's going to be easy, if you think you're just going to get that business started without any trials or tribulations, forget about it. And so you got to change your mindset, all right? We got to stop looking at pain as if it's something negative.
To those who have everything, more will be given. From those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's like what's very pessimistic in some sense, because it means that as you start to fail, you fail more and more rapidly. But it also means that as you start to succeed, you succeed more and more rapidly. And so you take an incremental step and, well, now you can lift 55 pounds instead of 52.5 pounds. You think, well, what the hell's that? It's like, it's one step on a very long journey. And so it starts to compound on you. So a small step today puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. And then that puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. And you do that for 2 or 3 years, man, you're starting to stride.
It takes courage to be exceptional. It takes courage to be wise. It takes courage to be rich. It takes courage to be educated. It takes courage to be knowledgeable. Because the moment you do, but you don't talk like you forgot where you came from. Look at you, it takes courage. And I'm just wondering, in this weak, watered down, mediocre society that we live in today, in this reality TV world we live in today, I'm wondering if there's anybody left that's got the courage to say, after all I've been through, and all my ancestors have been through, and all my parents have been through, I didn't come through all of that just to fit in with normalcy. I have the courage to go after my dream. Is there a woman left in this entire Coliseum that's got some courage?
Real winners, real doers, people who actually achieve their dreams, they don't have any special skills you don't have. They don't have more knowledge. They don't have more talent. They don't have more skills. They just do it.
Out of the times, they want to count you out. They want to make sure you don't be the one to make it. You don't be the one to succeed, nigga. Look at that. It's crazy. When you really dedicated and you focused up, ain't shit can stop you. Get the fuck in the game. Come on.
No matter what it is. Many times you say to yourself, I gotta lose weight, I gotta lose weight. I'm too fat. And then you know what? During the day you eat at night, and then next day you get mad at yourself. Well, what do you want? What do you want? You gotta change something. Well, you know, a lot of actors, you know, I don't want to go see that. You know, they feel funny. They don't want to see a director or see people. I go, no. You gotta try. You gotta get out there. You gotta fake it till you make it. Do something.
What I'm saying is, you're not gonna know. So choose, live, and then if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, adjust. Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life.
Someone that overthinks things, they get analysis paralysis, right? They just start thinking and thinking and thinking. They're frozen from their own thoughts, too many thoughts. And so I thought these were good little factors here. And it basically, to me, it all boils down to actually fear. Because if you're thinking, then you're not taking action. And if you're not taking action, then there's no consequence. And if there's no consequence, then there's nothing to be afraid of. So I think that the overthinking can be an excuse for actual fear. And same thing with like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. That's also fear. It's fear of not being perfect. And then on top of that, low confidence. Well, if you have low confidence, guess what? You're afraid. Your confidence is low. You're not sure of yourself, so you sit around and think about doing it instead of actually doing it.
This wasn't built for you. I'm 41 years old. I didn't grow up with this either, but I figured it out. You figured out how to drive, you figured out how to be a parent, you figured it all out. And with the health trends and the way the world is now, you got a long life in front of you. So instead of sitting in that job for the next 10 years, go do your thing. You've got plenty and plenty of time.
No matter what's going on in your life is not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it or you can participate in it. It's going to change anyway. So if you keep waiting around, you're going to have to react to the change. And now you're behind. But if you participate in the change, if you know the job you have is not going to last forever. I'm just telling you. COVID proved that already. Where you go to work at every day, that's gonna change. COVID proved that already. Your best laid plans has changed. So what you gotta start doing is you gotta start anticipating that it's going to change and just start living your life with the preparation for change. No matter what you're doing, you could be doing more. Remember that.
Because the great thing about life is it's always your next move. Your next move that counts.
One of the things you have to understand about life is everything changes and everything ends. And that kind of sounds heavy on the front end, but it's a truth. If everything changes and everything ends, number one, it should make you appreciate what you have right now. And then my view is what's next is always better. If I make it so, it's my job to make it so.
Where you are in life right now is exactly where you chose to be. Whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, that is the reality of the situation. There's a plethora of opportunity, access, and information out there for you to become successful, for you to build the life that you want. But the truth is that you don't think it's possible and that you're comfortable with the life that you have. Therefore, you live and operate accordingly. Now, if you want a better life, you have to make better decisions, and I continue emphasizing this point because a lot of you guys don't seem to understand. And since it is a good point, I have to make the point over and over and over again in order for it to be inserted into your brains in a permanent fashion. So if the life that you have is the life that you chose, and where you are right now is by choice, just like I'm standing here in beautiful Geneva, walking at 11:30, and now I'm gonna probably go have some lunch at the garden place right there. I think that's the Windsor Hotel, 1,500 a night. Pretty fucking nice. I chose to be here. I put my video game character here. Where's your video game character right now? Where is it? Where have you positioned it to be? Oh yeah, but my life, my parents, I'm a third world country. Motherfucker, I'm from a third world country. Look at me now, what? You can't do it. Who's holding you back? The system, the man, the woman, the ideology, the culture? Fuck that stuff, bro. If you want to become a high tier individual, and if you want to live life on your own terms and be the wielder of your future, the main character of your life, then you need to start moving with intention. You need to start moving and operating with a lot of power. You need to move as if you own this place, and you will. Because if somebody else was able to do it and somebody else was able to be successful in the past, why can't you be that person? So where you are right now in life, whether you believe it or not, is where you chose to be. And that is the truth. So ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to be?
Down all the things that you're afraid of and avoiding that are necessary for you to do to move forward, right? So these would be things that you're not doing, that you know you need to do in order for you to move to where you want to move. And so you need to make a pretty exhaustive list of those. Then you need to break each of those down. You need a strategy, and a written strategy would be very helpful. You need a strategy of exposure. You know, I mean, like maybe you're behind on your tax documents, let's say, you know, or there's some other stack of paperwork sitting on your desk that you're not attending to because you're afraid. And there may be lots of things in your life that you're not attending to because you're afraid. And so, first of all, you want to admit to what those things are, and you can ask yourself that. Then you want to write them down. Then you want to come up with a strategy for starting to deal with them. You know, so like if it's a stack of unpaid bills that you're terrified of and that you've been avoiding for a few months or even worse, you're going to be pretty damn afraid to even take a look at the problem. But it'll almost inevitably be the case that if you take a look at the problem, a detailed look, the reality will be less terrifying than the specter that your imagination has conjured forth. And maybe the thing you can do for the first day when you decide to actually turn around and face the dragon, let's say, is all you'll do is open the file folder with all the documentation of what you're avoiding in it and just glance through it, like for 5 minutes, just to break that paralysis. You know, or maybe you have to spend 15 minutes gathering the dispersed documents that are in whatever the hell passes for your filing system together so they're all in one place. Some move forward. And so what you want to do is you want to think about what it is that's producing negative emotion in you, your doubts and your concerns, and then you want to develop a strategy of incremental approach.
That there is a way out, that there is a way to do more, to get more, to obtain more. But I personally don't want to lose all that I've been able to get. So I need to make sure that I do everything to keep it. So I can't be content.
What is that thing that we wanted to accomplish? That thing you wanted to accomplish, that thing that has been gnawing at your gut, that thing that you think you have some passion about, that you want to take a crack at, that thing that's been in your crosshairs, that thing I'm thinking about, I want to accomplish it, I think I'm going to be good at it, I think I could make something of this particular thing. You know what? One day.
Wind, we call that naive. Don't ask for better seed, better soil. This is the only planet you got. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better, and be able to take care of your own responsibilities. Get better.
For everybody out there, bottom line entrepreneurship is get ready to lose, get ready to fail. Enjoy the win. Why? Because then you appreciate it. If you win all the time, then you don't know what loss feels like. But when you know what loss feels like and failure feels like, then you work really, really, really hard when you get a W, when you get a win, to protect it.
Anytime y'all are having this little voice, they call it the big voice. Anytime you having this voice in your head, turn on a camera and say that shit to the camera. Oh, I don't feel like going to the gym today. Maybe I should just call off of work. Say that shit to the camera. Now, David Goggins said that shit, but I got one better for y'all. Say that shit to y'all kids. Say that shit to your little brother. Say that shit to your wife. Say that shit to your girlfriend. Say that shit to your grandmother who's probably about to pass away. Just say that shit real quick. You can't you?
Whatever you don't use, you lose. Lack of use causes loss. If you tie your arm to your body, leave it there long enough, you'll never use it again. It's over for the arm. Now, it may not be over, but it's over for the arm. The only way to keep the use of this arm is what? Keep using it. If you quit, you lose automatically. They don't bring it up for a vote. You lose automatically when you quit. Now, the same thing that goes for your arm goes for your brain, mentality. The same thing goes for all the human virtues. Ambition, unused, declines. Strong feelings, unused, diminish. It doesn't grow, it diminishes. Faith, unused, decreases. It's a law. Vitality, unused, diminishes. Energy, unused, decreases.
You are your own worst enemy. You waste precious time dreaming of the future instead of engaging in the present. Since nothing seems urgent to you, you're only half involved in what you do.
Even if it's not easy, even if it's hard, it's easier than not doing it and wishing that you had done it.
Everyone's hypercritical and terrified to do anything and put themselves out there and fail. So we hyperanalyze, hypercriticize, become paralyzed, and end up doing nothing, sitting in our basements watching TikToks of other people's lives, pretending that they're happy. I was having one of those cynical days and felt like ranting a little. But honestly, there's optimism here for some low barrier of entry personal growth. Stop analyzing, stop criticizing, both yourself and others, and go fail at some shit. Go give someone a good job for sucking at something, because at least they're trying. Maybe it will even give yourself permission to do the same. We find meaning in trying difficult things, not just in succeeding at them.
The second I got my head out of my ass, and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of shit if you get off your ass and you start moving and you start motivating yourself.
In fact, we saw clearly that without the lessons that we had learned from our mistakes, we would have surely died in the desert. And when you look back on any achievement, you will find that it was preceded by many difficulties and many lessons. They are the price that you pay for your success, and no success is possible without them.
People are walking around, brother, and they're setting themselves up for failure. They wake up, they're on their phones till 12 in the bed scrolling. They don't study, they don't learn, they don't self-develop. People are just trying to make it win, win, win. No, just get rid of your deficits and the rest will just flourish. People that win long-term are the people that make it so hard to lose that it becomes easy to win. Imagine you just set yourself up for success. You open up your calendar, it's set up for success. You open up your YouTube, it's set up for success. You open up your phone book, it's set up for success. Your relationship, it's set up for success. Winning was just kind of like inevitable. So set up the systems in your life.
When you see what men can do when pushed beyond the limit of human capacity, when you see that, when you hear about it, when you read about it, well then remember to push yourself. Push yourself every day, every moment. Get out there and get after it.
But you know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and there's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. And people know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You know it was hard, but you did it hard.
If you stay in bed, if you stay on the couch, if you stay in your comfort zone, if you only do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, if you get up, if you grind, if you are relentless, if you work as hard as possible, when other people are slacking off, your life will be easy.
People limit themselves in a crazy way. They're like, oh yeah, everybody can't do it. It's like you said, it's like, no, everybody can't do it. It takes a lot. You know what I mean? You gotta go through the shit to get it.
Michael Jordan, I remember I interviewed him years ago, And I said, what makes you the best in the world? Is it skill? Is it talent? Is it ability? Is it background? Is it training? And he was so awesome. He said, Tony, I can tell you the truth and it won't sound like hyperbole or false modesty. He said, I didn't even make the high school basketball team my sophomore year. I was cut. He said, what it is every day I demand more from myself than anybody else could possibly expect. I don't compete with other people. I compete with what I'm capable of.
The problem in this world, you see, is instant gratification. Everybody wants it now.
If you want the future to change for you, you've got to change. If you don't change, the next 6 years of your life is going to be just like the last 6. You'll still be behind on your bills. You'll still be behind on your promises. If you will change, everything will change for you. If you will get better, everything will get better for you. If you'll change your philosophy, if you'll change your habits, if you'll refine your thinking, if you'll change and accept some new disciplines, if you'll turn the corner where you've been in the past, go for a new life for the future, all kinds of remarkable things will happen for you if you will change.
Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And so anytime you got to be courageous, let's look at it from the standpoint of dreams, goals, and aspirations. You got your dream, your goal, and your aspiration, and then you got reality, right? And oftentimes reality doesn't reflect the goal, the dream, and the aspiration. And so when you think courage, like being courageous and following your heart because it somehow knows what you want to do anyway, like it's almost like instinct, right? It's almost like when you feel something that you should do, and for some strange reason, like your mind or your spirit tells you, nah, I don't want to do it, because it takes you outside of your comfort zone and it puts you in a space and place that may be unknown, or puts you in a space and place of uncharted territory, but you know you should do it, you could feel it, right? And then you go against it.
That the magic you're looking for in life is in the work you're avoiding. And that just like kind of rocked me. There's something that you know you should.
Because we know that it's not easy. But no pain, no gain. Not even coming from the Shaolin Temple. Worldwide know that sentence. Everything that hurts you, find a way to overcome it. Everything that you feel is difficult for you, find a way to still do it.
There's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, it's a choice that you have to make. We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. What I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that. I knew that I was not going to be stopped. So at the age of 18, this was my life, right? So you can't possibly become better than me because you're not spending the time on it that I do. Even if you want to spend the time on it, you can't, because you have other things, you have other responsibilities that are taking you away from it. So I already won.
So it's not the car, the house, the whatever. It is that internal goal, that internal why. And so for me, I just think that's it. Like that, it's something within it. You gotta pull it out. And so it's easy when you have a why, a purpose. I'm doing it for this, I'm doing it for that. It's easy to get up and get going. But if it's just for a car, what happens, Louis, when you get the car? Because you can buy it. What happens when you get the house and you can buy the house?
Because I think any person, any human realizes that if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it. And if you don't work hard for something, you're not going to get an outcome that's really worth much. There's things that you can control. There's things you can't control. Now, I will tell you that human beings can control a lot more than they think they can. And oftentimes, it's pretty easy just to say, oh, that's not me. That's not on me. And I think that's the whole genesis of the idea of extreme ownership, is most of the time, or much of the time, people say that's not my fault, there's nothing I can do about that, and more often than people think, there is something you can do about it, and it is your fault.
It's normal to not know what you're doing. If you did, it wouldn't be called growth. High five your fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and carry on. Do you get tired, stressed, sad, hungry, frustrated, unfocused? Do you feel misunderstood? Great. You're human. You don't need medication.
It is hard. It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard.
You're not good enough. If you quit, you're going to quit everything hard in your life, and that's a big problem for you.
People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
Yeah, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught.
Bad things don't come in threes. Bad things happen, people don't know how to cope, and they allow one bad thing to snowball into more. Bad stuff sucks. The only thing worse is letting one bad thing ruin many good things.
So when I was growing up for like 3 years, so from the time I was 8 to the time I was like 12, we lived in a $7 a month place. And what I call it is I'm always paying rent in that $7 a month home. Every day of my life. I go back and revisit that place because that place made me this good animal. That place made me this hard man. And then from that place, so that place is hard work. That place is going back to the fundamentals of life. The fundamentals of what made David Goggins. Going back in there, going back to the library of David Goggins, studying even more than what I know, taking that out, going back to where I'm at now, and then moving forward.
Difficult things make regular life less difficult because regular life can be confusing, and little things that go wrong and little problems that arise are exacerbated by the fact that you're not accustomed to dealing with hardship.
But it was still a kid with a dream and a belief in himself. And for many times I was laughed at and not believed in, but you know what? Nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. The external is there. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue.
I think the more, at least for me, the more I've tried to create space between how I feel and what I do, the more consistent my outcomes have been.
Embrace the process. You say, Dwayne, what process? Life. Life. Embrace the journey and the process of life. You only get stronger hiking by going uphill. Nobody gets stronger hiking by just going downhill.
Because you're probably in the bed right now. You're probably an underachiever. You're probably somebody who doesn't want to do anything with your life.
People should stop complaining.
Right.
People should figure out who the f they are.
Good call.
People should not listen to America propaganda of fixing the shit they suck at. They should be tripling down at what they're good at. They should be competent in certain areas, but you're not gonna become Beyonce or, like your bone structure is a certain way. Like you're not gonna solve everything. Your IQ can get a little bit better, but don't worry about the incremental. Figure out what puts you on fire and you're halfway decent at. If you're lucky enough right now to be listening and you're good at what you like, become tunnel vision. Because there's way too many voices telling you what and how. The reason most people who are listening right now are not doing that thing is they're worried about the opinion of somebody. And the reality is we have to get to a place where you're doing you, because the number one thing that scares the fuck out of me is regret.
The Lonely Chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely Chapter. And the problem with it is that you're always the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there, and you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side. What am I pushing toward? You're telling me that I'm not going to go out on this night out with my friends, which I've done for the last 5 years or 10 years in the town that I grew up in or went to university in or whatever. Are you telling me that I'm not going to do that because I'm going to get up and I'm going to meditate or read? Who even knows if meditation works, right? Like, you've got all of these questions in your mind, and all of your friends and all of the dynamics and the temptations pull you back toward that. It pulls you back toward the old version of life.
Just lock on me for 6 months, bro. Please. I really want you to be great. You got me, I got you. We all we got. See what happens.
It's so easy to quit, bro. That's what everyone's doing. And we're not trying to be like everybody else. You can't progress in life without progressing. Don't let it go over your head. You can't progress in the grand scheme of life if you don't progress in your everyday life. If you don't try to take a step to be better, your overall life won't be better.
If you put your head down and lock in on the vision, how could you not win? The only thing that's gonna cause you to lose is your mentality.
Why I hate being around negative people. Being an asshole is a weak person's idea of strength. Complaining is their connection. Never let yourself be held back by other people's fears. People criticize what they were afraid to do themselves because bold action reminds them of their own inaction. If you're afraid to be criticized, why do you care about the opinions of those who are too timid to do it themselves? If you are the criticizer, does tearing down someone who has the courage you lack make you better?
You have a whole life in front of you. You have years to take part in this life and to do stuff, to accomplish stuff, and to enjoy stuff. I think about that. If I was 22 again, and if God said, hey,
alone anymore. You want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. People go, I don't know what I want to do in my life because it's too loud. That dark space, you may need to spend years in that dark space, months, whatever it may be. Find your purpose.
You think somebody's gonna knock on your door and say, hey, I have this opportunity for you? It's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. You have to show up. Get up in the morning, do what you gotta do, and show up. And you'll be a success.
I study the darkness. You find no answers in the light. None. It's too happy, it's too nice. And we don't need to be taught how to live in happiness. That just comes naturally to us.
Hey man, look, I don't know if you realize this, but the life that you want to live not just gonna fall in your lap. I mean, something's gonna start clicking in your head that doing the bare minimum not gonna take you to the heights that you want to reach. I mean, you got all the potential in the world, but it don't mean nothing if you don't maximize it. So I need you to lock in and become who you're supposed to be. You say though.
Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain. Villains are used by it.
I'm not hungry to make my kids become world champion. But I don't know what my son gonna choose. But if you say I wanna be like you, I wanna be world champion, okay, this is your choice. If you want, I'm just gonna help him, but I'm never gonna push him to become professional. But he have no choice about one thing. He's a man and he's gonna train. You have to be strong. Zero complaint, and he's like almost 6, and he train every day, and there is no choice. He's gonna train because if you're man, you have to be strong.
You know, it's all psychological, to be honest. You've got to be able to control your breathing and control your emotions in there. Again, like I said, sometimes I've been up and down on it. Sure. Sometimes I've riled up too much to it, and I'm only young, Tony. You know, I'm still learning the game, and I don't claim to know it all. But what I do know, I know it damn well, you know, and I'm continuing to learn and continuing to push on, and that's where I'm at now. So
things are not what they are. Things are what we think they are. For instance, you're doing a hard workout, which gives you a signature feeling. You're laid on the floor, panting, heart rate at 180, sweating from everywhere with the taste of metal in your mouth. This is oddly enjoyable. But if this exact same sensation was to spontaneously occur in your car while sat in traffic, you'd call an ambulance for fear that you're having a heart attack. Framing is everything. Rory Sutherland says, sometimes you just want to stand in the corner and stare out of the window. The problem is, when you're not smoking and staring out of the window, you're an antisocial, friendless idiot. If you stand and stare out of the window with a cigarette, you're a f***ing philosopher. The power of reframing things cannot be overstated. It's significantly easier to find a way to reframe your experiences as enjoyable while you improve them, rather than waiting for them to be done before you give yourself license to be happy.
Really? Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. You're gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is gonna turn everything on. Don't put up the walls. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness. Take down the walls. Go for the experience. Let it teach you. And here's the last one. Resolve. Resolve says I will. Two of the most powerful words in the language. Benjamin Disraeli said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake its existence on its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die.
My whole thing, Joe, is I'm so grateful. I'm so optimistic, man. I'm always looking for light in every situation. And I think that's the way I deal with things. I always believe there's going to be good at the end of the day. That's just how I am. And I'm just so grateful. Where most people would be so upset with themselves and all this type of stuff, I'm really not. I believe that my best years, my prime is even still ahead of me. So I'm not even tripping about it.
Do not be the caught cynic. The ability to express wonder and amazement and seem like you mean it is a rare and dying talent, but one still greatly valued.
First thing is you gotta be selfish as hell. You gotta be selfish. I don't give a f***. It's to sacrifice, but without great sacrifice and without great risk, there is no such thing as great reward. You have to have, and I don't like this word, but I'm gonna say it because it's true. You have to be a little maniacal with this shit. Maniac, right? That word isn't good in a lot of situations, but when you're pursuing your destiny, when you identify with your destiny, you have to be selfish, you have to be maniacal, you have to be uncompromising. And you have to move in a way, when it comes to those three things, when you function completely in a way where it's an unwavering faith. Like, it don't matter how f***ed up that shit might look. It don't matter how much it feel like it ain't gonna work.
People say I'm conceited, I talk too much, but they must have pity on me. It's hard to be humble when you're as great as I am.
We have been fed this line of horse that you're supposed to seek comfort, and I don't think you are. I think you're supposed to seek lessons, and you're supposed to seek difficult tasks and accomplishments, and through those things and through doing things that are hard to do, even if it's just a 90-minute hot yoga class. I do a 90-minute yoga class, man. Those last 20 minutes, I do not want to be there, man. And I definitely don't want to give 100%. And I can cheat. I can kind of half-ass it. But if I don't, and I get through it, when that time is up and the lady says namaste and everybody gets up, I'm like, man, I made it. You know, I lost 15 pounds. My yoga mat is drenched to the point where I can literally wring it out and fill a jug up with water. But through that struggle, I will now have a better day, and I better do it again tomorrow.
Why you need to go all in. The main reason you need to go all in is because you have nothing to lose, bro. When you think about it, guys, you're already broke, okay? And we know that you're not gonna save yourself rich, okay? And we know that if somebody else is all in and you only have half of your foot in to the water and you're not ready to jump, that guy's gonna beat you every single time.
if your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions, right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. Right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up.
But I think that's good advice. Don't be a follower, be a student, right? Take advice, but not orders. Take information, but don't let somebody order your life. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Not to do what someone else says. Take what someone else says, process it, think about it, ponder it. If it makes you wonder, if it makes you think, then it's valuable. Then when you go take action, make sure that the action is not what somebody told you to do. Make sure the action is the product of your own conclusion.
The biggest difference between people who win and people who lose is that winners expect to win. Winners are not surprised when they win. Like when I win, I don't overly celebrate because I expected that to be the outcome. Amateurs, when they win, they're surprised and then they over-celebrate. And like I said, when they over-celebrate, they become ineffective because they're taking their eye off the game for way too long, right? I won the week this week. And then they talk about that 1 week for the next 6 weeks. And the next 6 weeks, the guy who expected to win is still going just as hard. So it's an expectation. That's the difference between winners and losers that I think in terms of not so much their self-talk, but just their attitude.
You're gonna know what it's gonna be like to make it personal. Because I'm gonna make it.
Tom, I'll make it 22 again, okay? Just do something different. Wow! Oh my God. I'd be like a professional golfer this time, even though I can't. I'm lousy at golf. I stink at golf. I would do something that I think in my brain I could never do, which was bodybuilding at one time. I thought I could never do this. It's too insurmountable. It's too crazy. But something in the back of my mind always said, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Then, hey, when you get out of bed, life's standing right there to kick you in the face, man. Could be anything. Could be you get up and you walk downstairs, you got a flat tire and you're late for work and you got this and that. Life is going to throw all kinds of crazy shit at you, right? And you have to be ready for it, and you got to deal with it. You can't curl up into a ball. You can't run away from it. You can't hide. You have to take all this shit head on.
So this lonely chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be is going to have to let go of people who can't go there with them. It's that if you know that there is something that you're meant to do, if you know that there's something that you're meant to change, you will have to let certain groups, friends, routines, places, activities, recreations that you do, you're going to have to let those go. And there is this, the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side. It's like, you think, well, I'm just stood here doing the thing, but I don't know if it's going to come out on the other side. And I can promise you, anybody that has done anything, moved from any place they were to any place that they want to be, has gone through this lonely chapter.
I think you just gotta wake up one day and just say, so what? Like, who cares if you don't believe in me? I believe in myself. You don't put too much work to not have this amount of confidence. And if you don't believe in me, it doesn't change my success story. I'm still gonna win. But I guess one thing I gotta say is, let me know when that hate starts making you money.
You may be right that other people did certain things or you got dealt a bad hand. It also doesn't matter, because the only thing that you can't control is obviously the actions that you take. And the only person who's in control of that is you.
Nobody is going to understand you, bro. And it's like, I really realized nobody ever believed in me. Like, you have to believe in yourself. If nobody else is gonna understand, then you have to make sure that you understand and that you believe in yourself, because that's where it starts.
Control freak is a word people with low standards use to describe people with high standards. You're not a control freak. You just want it done right the first time. You're not anxious. You care. Do not expect mediocre people to support world-class goals.
If you go visit the darkness that you've been running from, you'll have the opportunity to leave a better person. You'll have a better understanding of yourself. You'll have a better understanding of your purpose. But if you don't take that trip and the darkness comes visits you, it's a guest that will never leave.
You're playing against the Golden State Warriors. Score is 107-109. You guys are close to getting into the playoffs. You know exactly what happens in the game. You go up, you're about to take your shot, and then all of a sudden, boom, Achilles happens.
Ryan again going to work, falls down. Again, he's struggling.
Right after you were injured, you went on Facebook and you posted a lengthy blog. You know what this is?
Oh, yeah.
This is such BS. All the training and sacrifice just flew out the window with one step that I've done millions of times. The frustration is unbearable. The anger is rage. Why the hell did this happen? Makes no damn sense. Now I'm supposed to come back from this and be the same player or better at 35? How in the world am I supposed to do that? I have no clue. Do I have the consistent will to overcome this thing? Maybe I should break out the rocking chair and reminisce on the career that was. Maybe this is how my book ends. Maybe Father Time has defeated me. Then again, maybe not. It's 3:30 a.m. My foot feels like dead weight. My head is spinning from the pain meds, and I'm wide awake. Forgive my venting, but what's the purpose of social media if I won't bring it to you real, no image? Feels good to vent, to let it out. To feel as if this is the worst thing ever. Because after all the venting, the real perspective sets in. There are far greater issues and challenges in the world than a torn Achilles. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Find the silver lining and get to work with the same belief, same drive, and same conviction as ever. One day, the beginning of a new career journey will commence. Today is not that day. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. I've always loved that quote. That's Mamba mentality. We don't quit, we don't cower, we don't run.
It's hurting, but the Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. Got it.
Yeah. How the hell do you tolerate that kind of pain?
I tell this example, and I think this is the best way to explain it. Your kids are upstairs, wife is wherever she may be, it's going down, all right? I'm willing to bet that you're gonna forget about your hamstring, you're gonna sprint upstairs, you're gonna grab your kids, you'll make sure your wife's good, you're getting out of that house, right? Hamstring be damned, you're not gonna feel your hamstring. Right? This is another obstacle. This obstacle cannot define me, it's not gonna cripple me, it's not gonna be responsible for me stepping away for the game that I love. I'm gonna step away on my own terms. And that's when the decision was made that, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Disgust. Disgust. Disgust is a negative emotion, but it can have a very positive, powerful effect. Disgust says, I've had it. What an important day that could be.
Most people will not understand your obsession, your drive, and your determination. Success is a lonely journey. That's just a reality. And most people are not going to understand why you're so driven, why you're so obsessed. And if you try and make them understand, you're going to end up frustrated. The best advice I can tell you is go on the journey by yourself.
If I'm going to be just as miserable being mediocre as I am doing this.
I think Iverson said he had Kobe at 2, right? And Stephen A. challenged that. What makes Kobe special in player's mind, right? In a player's mind himself, right? It has we don't go by your stats. We don't go by the accolades. We go by how the person played, what was his attributes, right? So when you think about the greatest players of all time, 90-80% of them have God gift of natural talent, ability, body, right? So Jordan, 48-inch vertical, right? You got the big hands, right? You got LeBron, right? You have Shaquille O'Neal, right? Then Magic, 6'9" point guard with vision. Kobe, standard. If I give you 6'6" and then took every 6'6" guard in the NBA and NBA history, you would never find him. You would see Jordan because there he is, right? You would never find Kobe because he didn't have big hands, right? He wasn't quick, he wasn't fast. 38-inch vertical, that's standard. Like if you don't have a 38-inch vertical, you're not even a shooting guard in today's game, right? And what he did with that body, it's like you took a S500 and he was pushing it like a Bugatti. That's what we look at. We look at the normal person fighting gods.
Yes. That's going to amount to something, then I might as well do the shit that's going to amount to something and be miserable there and at least have something to show for it.
This happens to everybody that's tried to do something, and you're gonna get shit on, bro. You're gonna get hated on. Nobody's gonna get what the you're doing, but that's what makes it worth doing.
Don't be so worried about people who imitate your work. They only know the what, but not the why. If you stopped being creative, so would they. A photocopier isn't an artist, even if it can recreate the Mona Lisa.
You gotta shut off technology. Go here. So go to that dark place. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone.
Then I said, well, I don't have to go to work on the economy. And the answer was no. You only have to go to work on yourself. To make yourself more valuable. Because it doesn't take but a few ideas to make a great difference in your income, personal life, social life, and all the rest.
The margins, guys, in life, that dictates a champion. Someone that's remembered and not forgotten. The legacies are like the role models, the one that stands those tests of time I always talk about. Don't know terms like good enough. It's too hard. And they've failed over and over and over again so many times that they've learned what it takes to succeed. With failure comes success, and with success comes blueprints of fundamental principles that lead to success.
It just takes work, shitloads and shitloads of work. Every time I try and dress it up or cut a corner, I get brutally reminded the work just needs doing. The work doesn't care who you are, it just cares that it gets done.
I'm actually going to reverse quote David Goggins on this one. I love this quote that he has, which he says, "There's no shortcuts for you, David." I heard him say that, and I just love that as a refrain, which is that a lot of people look for a shortcut. But the idea that you say, like, they're not for you, you don't get to use them. You are immune to shortcuts. I just love it because then it just further shortcuts the path to the work that needs to get done.
You should push yourself beyond your limits of tolerance to find out where it is. How much can you work? How disciplined can you become? Like, can you work 12 hours a day? Can you work 8 hours a day? Can you work 3 hours a day? Like, flat out. Where's your limit? And how much work can you do, and how much socialization? You should find out. Push yourself past and then back off to that point where it's optimally sustainable.
You have the opportunity to prevent catastrophe in your own life, but in order to do that, once again, you have to stand up. You have to do the right thing. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to impose the discipline on your own life.
Stop listening to the normality of life. Everyone's saying the way it is the way it's going to be for you. The way it is for you is blood, sweat, and tears today to create a foundation of strength of tomorrow. Those days combined into whatever dream you want to be a reality. We're always fighting for that edge, always fighting for that opportunity. So it's not past, it's not missed, but lived. We're not gonna cry about those opportunities. We're gonna smile, remember them, and thank God they came, because we were ready when they came. You won't be ready if today isn't pushed with the strenuous nature and the pressure of the moment in the future that everything rides on.
There's several days I don't want to do shit. I procrastinate like a mother. This is one of those days, man. I put my shoes and my socks and my shorts on every day. Woke up this morning and just stared at them. Didn't want to do shit. Didn't know why I was doing this shit. So, we have to always remember, our purpose will always be there. I have nothing in front of me right now. No race, no nothing. But the purpose is myself. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. On those bad days, when you think that you're alone, you just might be. Because you know why? No one else wants to f***ing do it. So you be the motherfucker that always gets it done.
You can't go back once you've started this damn journey. You can only go forward. So, you got two choices. One, you get scared, you give up. And the second one, it's like, f*** it, fear, and you barrel through it. And when you come out on the other side, I guarantee you're going to be stronger than you ever thought possible.
That stress of everybody on you, and it's a make or break moment in your life, must exist today with no one watching. If that's ever gonna happen your way, you need that X factor. You need that leg up. It's too fucking hard. This workout will ensure that you never have to question your intensity. You make it through this, guys, you're gonna make it through life. I said leg up because that's what this is. It's a leg workout, and it will bring you a leg up in life. It's intense, man. I'm not sure I'm ready for it, but the challenge of that inspires me to fucking reach barriers I haven't been to, and I'm excited to share them with you. And you guys watching this, share them with yourselves and your friends, and together we'll be part of society that doesn't take second place as first. There's first place, and then it's forgotten. Leg up begins now.
Projecting yourself forward to see what are the consequences of failing, what are the consequences of stopping.
Yep.
Is about as powerful of a motivation strategy as I can think of, you know? Because what you're doing is you're trying to optimize right now to stop the discomfort.
That's right.
But what you're going to pay for that in is shame and guilt and regret long term.
That's right.
So what you need to be able to do is bundle all of that up that is as yet unfelt, but will last for way, way, way longer. You know, the future is much longer than now.
That's right.
The future is going to extend out up until the day that you die, and the now is just for now. And even 130 hours is just 130 hours.
That's right.
And you get to look back, and do you look back with pride and glory, or do you look back with shame and guilt?
One way to increase the probability that things will unfold for you properly is to not lie. It's just stop lying. Period. Stop saying things you believe to be untrue. Stop doing things you know to be wrong. Just start with that. You'll get closer and closer to the truth, and the truth is the adventure of life. That's the advantage to the truth. You have the world on your side. But obviously, because if you're lying about things, you're opposing reality. Who are you? Who are you to oppose reality? Good luck.
Come here, Brock. You too, Jeremy.
What, am I in trouble now?
Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best.
What, you want me to go to the 30?
I think you go to the 50.
The 50? I can go to the 50 if nobody's on my back.
I think you can do it with Jeremy on your back, but even if you can, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best.
All right.
All right, one more thing. I want you to do it blindfolded.
Why?
Because I want you giving up at a certain point when you can go further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Let's go, Brock. Keep your knees off the ground, just your hands and feet. There you go. A little bit left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. You keep going.
Be doing, whether it be working on yourself, losing weight, writing something, working on your career. The magic you're looking for in life is in the work you're avoiding. Everybody wants to be a star. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to have money. You got to work at it. If you really want to be successful, you have to work at it. Nothing is achieved without some perspiration. Nothing. Anything that is worth anything, you have to work at it. One more time.
And even if you're not where you want to be in life and you're grinding and you're on that hustle, keep grinding, but also appreciate it. Appreciate that hustle. Appreciate this thing. Appreciate this fucking beautiful, chaotic, unknown existence you're in.
The thing we call life.
I love me. So the day that you decide to stop loving me, I'm not gonna love myself any less. I believe in me. If you stop believing in me, I'm not gonna believe in myself any less. If you believe that I'm irrelevant, that no one is checking for me, and that I don't mean anything to the world, because you think or believe that about me, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna believe it about myself.
Refine your goals. I don't know what ambitions you've had up until now, but this weekend would be a good time to start the process. Here's the next one, believe in yourself. And you've got to believe in the possibilities. You've got to believe in the economy. You've got to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. But here's the big one, believe in yourself. There isn't a skill you can't learn. There isn't a discipline you can't try. There isn't a class you couldn't take. There isn't a book you couldn't read. Ask for wisdom. This is communication of the highest source. Ask for wisdom that creates answers. Ask for the wisdom that creates faith to believe things are possible.
To live life, you need problems. If you get everything you want the minute you want it, what's the point of living?
Hey man, look, I don't know if you realize this, but the life that you want to live not just gonna fall in your lap. I mean, something's gonna start clicking in your head that doing the bare minimum not gonna take it to the heights that you want to reach. I mean, you got all the potential in the world, but it don't mean nothing if you don't maximize it. So I need you to lock in and become who you're supposed to be.
Sure thing. It says, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down or not going the way that you want it to. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one that's to come?
I don't negotiate with myself. I tell my brain, I don't go, oh, wait, I'm not ready, or let me count to 10, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. That pattern of thinking is what destroys most people's lives and their dreams. You can settle for a life like most people have, or you can create your dreams, but to do it, you need to be able to push yourself. So you need to train yourself in little ways. Or it could be just going and lifting weights, and you're gonna do like 10 minutes of pushing yourself, or a sprint, or a really fast walk, anything. Because when you get your blood pushing, when you push beyond what's comfortable, it develops this determination inside you, this sense of will that you will then use everywhere else. I always say if you discipline yourself in one area of your life, you're gonna be able to do it even more in other areas.
I was wondering what your thoughts are on how to know that you're doing enough.
So first thing, you have the self-awareness. Like you see the thing for what it is. You're not in the matrix, right? You're seeing the code. I just tried to outrun and outwork that sensation. If I just go faster and harder and work longer hours, chastise myself more, maybe eventually I'll get to the stage where things go well. Maybe that will fill the internal voice. And it is far easier to achieve our material desires than to renounce them. And you have this desire, which sounds like an inner fire that you want to make a dent in the world, you want to do something, stop fighting it. Stop fighting the fact that you want to try and work harder. Should you aim to try and discover self-love as early as possible? Probably a good idea. Spend your 20s seeing how hard you can work, because if push comes to shove and a catastrophe occurs in your business or your personal life or something at 42, you want to be able to turn around and go, for half a decade, I've ended worlds with how hard I worked and how resilient I became and stuff like that. The way that I look back on what I did was, sure, it was difficult at the time and could I have had more fun and all the rest of it. With the self-love thing of maybe being able to get there sooner, perhaps, but I had to earn my stripes. And if you're built the way that it sounds like you're built, which is not too dissimilar to the way that I'm built, and maybe a lot of the people in this room as well, you just need to put the work in.
The life we live, guys, is a differential of margins that's almost unmeasurable. What is successful and what is failure, the differential are so small. We're talking about seconds. We're talking about, reps. We're talking about the finest echelon of measurement that will make or break someone's life to be successful at that moment. And once at that moment successful, that gives a birth of a lifestyle that's unbeatable, second to none. But in order to have that first success, you must ensure yourself that you're giving it all you can today, because the future we don't know, do we? We're training for that. And when I hear people say terms like good enough, it bothers me to an nth degree, because they are saying something that is justified at the moment, but not quantitative until a future endeavor of life. So therefore, they are passing judgment on now for a future event that they know nothing about.
Confident person was not born confident. A confident person is built brick by brick by brick. And all of those bricks are just different results that they got in their lives.
So your brain needs pressure. It needs constant pressure. And stress and pressure is not a bad thing. We have this thing where we feel like stress is bad. It's bad for you. Bad. You need to relax, man. You need to chill. Stress will kill you. No, being bored will kill you. Not having anything to do will kill you. Is much more dangerous than stress. Yes, you can work too hard. You can work where there's no soul involved. I work like a fiend because I'm writing a book, and it's a very hard process for me. And I'm working far too much, but man, I love it.
Good enough, if you think about it. Good is a positive, enough's a negative. That's an oxymoron right there. It's hypocritical in its own sense. There's nothing that's ever good enough. The only thing that's enough is at the end of the day, the nth hour, the final hour, whatever you're going for, that your hand is raised victoriously. That's when you know it's enough. And you're in the gym right now to ensure that that event goes your way. And it will never go your way, guys, if you're saying today is good enough. If you never say good enough today, I promise you tomorrow will always be enough. Whenever good enough isn't enough, you can bet tomorrow you'll have enough.
Each person's income is determined primarily by their philosophy, not by the economy. Once I understood that,
personal, because it's always been personal. To me, you identify with this gift. We all got the gift. This is something that we've all been blessed with. At some point, if we listen to that little thing that speaks to us inside, some people call it instinct, some people call it a vibe, some people call it an energy, whatever the fuck you call it. Some people call it a voice. Whatever that thing is, bro, if it sparks the thought that changes the whole trajectory to what your life can evolve into because you took a second to listen to that shit, you are identifying with your blessing, you are identifying with your gift, and at that point, you learn what the fuck it is and become one with it and walk in your purpose, bro.
the key is time is precious. Now let me give you Bill Bailey's description of time. Life is not just the passing of time. Life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences. their frequency, and their intensity. Life is not just watching the clock tick away. Life is a collection of experiences. Their intensity, their frequency. When my friend Mark died at age 44, someone says, that's young to die. But what if he lived 4 lifetimes in one? It might not be too young. So here's whatever the span of your life turns out to be, here's what you want to fill it up with: experiences and the intensity of those experiences.
And if you lose that, not only are you not going to be successful in life, you will also lose yourself, and you will be you'll be unhappy, you'll be alienated from who you are. And you can get away with that when you're young because you're happy, you look good, you've got energy, things are going right. You get into your 30s and you're like everybody else. You don't know who you are and you don't know what you like anymore. You're just following the trends. You start to get depressed and you start going down this rabbit hole, and things can turn really ugly. So you need a bit of courage in life. You need to go, okay, I am weird. I am strange. You know, lean into it. So when I had the 48 Laws of Power, when I first wrote the book, without it being published yet, it was a very strange looking book, and it reflects my own strangeness. Things on the margins, stories, everything broken up, images, quotes here and there.
And what a time now for us to take this dream and not let it die. Take this dream and give it life. Take this dream and breathe into it your own personal spirit until finally it becomes a flame that burns around the whole world. Let's go do it now.
Well, Max, I think the greatest fear that we face is ourselves. Actually, you know, I think it's not anything that's external or anything that's superficial. I think the greatest fear you face is yourself, because, you know, we all have dreams, and it's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have, and it's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. It's scary because you're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself? Right? And so being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
Then here's a philosophy that really changed for me everything. Be so busy giving other people recognition, you really don't need it for yourself. I learned to recognize people for small steps of progress. Every little thing I can think of. Figure out rewards for small steps.
And what works is, if you dedicate your time and your focus, like realistically, with a professional, disciplined effort to creativity, you show up every day like a professional, but you show up to be creative. If you just do it on a regular basis, ideas will come to you. Where are these ideas coming from? Well, his concept was to think of it as you're a professional and you're getting these ideas from the muse. And this is what you do. You show up and you do the work, you focus on it, and these ideas will come to you.
And that little voice becomes completely drowned out. And so you don't know who you are anymore. And you're afraid, particularly young people today, I mean, maybe it's always been that way, are so afraid of being different. They're so afraid of being odd. But look at all the powerful people in this world. Look at your Elon Musks. Look at your celebrities in entertainment, in business and politics. They're one of a kind. They have like, I hate that word, but it's like a brand. They're different. They stand out for something that's truly different. You know, even Albert Einstein, there's nobody else like Einstein. There's nobody like Da Vinci. Okay? That's where your power lies. And you'll go, oh, but Robert, those are people that were brilliant, that were talented. I'm not like that. I don't have that. Well, bullshit. You do have that. It's just you're forgetting about it. You don't want to put the effort into it.
And there's no one more narcissistic than someone who's smart. And if you are smart, that's a real temptation. It's a real temptation. It can make you bitter as hell. The most bitter people are the smart people who aren't successful, because they feel that their shining light wasn't given due course and that the world should fall at their feet, and didn't. The way the world works, you don't get a gift without a corresponding temptation. And intellect is certainly it has the same characteristic. You can go very spectacularly wrong if you're smart. And it's pride that does that.
When you set a dream and you say, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you make a plan, and then plans are good. But if you come to a certain point where there's a tree across the road or the bridge is out, you can't say, well, there goes my dream. You've got to be flexible. Well, what am I going to do? What adjustments am I going to make to be able to still get to where I'm going, to be what I want to be? You need some flexibility. You need discipline. You need personal discipline. There's times when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done to get this. But you got to say, feelings has nothing to do with it. This is my dream. This is what I'm going to do.
Lots of people associate working hard with not making progress. Therefore, working feels like wasting.
So the idea that working hard doesn't make progress is one of the biggest farces that exists in humanity, right? And so if there is anything that's eternal for us, at least as individuals, it's going to be who we become in the process. And so one of my favorite quotes is, the work works on you more than you work on it. And so if you want to be the best in the world at something, you do the work to become the best in the world, and the work works on you. And so, I mean, there's a biblical proverb, I think it says, like, there is profit in all labor. And that means that even if the thing that you're working on right now doesn't amount to the outcome that you expected that it would, it doesn't mean that you don't become better through doing it. And so
the whole point of the human race and the human mind in itself is evolution, whether it's evolution spiritually, physically, period, evolution. The purpose from birth is creation. That's all humans do. Everything around you was created. You were created. That table over there created, this chair created, this mic created, that camera created, that hat created. The whole point of the human race in itself is creation. Before now, when there was at least ideally the belief of two human beings on earth, everything after that was a creation in itself. The whole point is evolution and creation. If you're not evolving, you're doing something wrong. So anything that takes away the power of your mind is keeping you still and delaying your evolution. The whole point of life is evolution. Study your laws of the universe. The law of attraction, the law of abundance, the law of equivalent exchange. Study your laws, the laws of cause and effect, the karmic cycle. Study your laws. Dwell into your mind, meditate. Understand that you can alter your realms by your train of thought.
Talking about that balance between good times and bad times, the lessons that we take from each. Every man knows reflection and introspection when he's at his lowest.
A lot of mornings I wake up and say, F your feelings. Sometimes you have to go beyond what you're feeling. You know, okay, this hurts, that hurts. We can just sit down and do nothing. Or we can see how far we can push the human body. So on that journey, as I started getting more and more into my mind and start realizing that what I'm capable of doing, my mind got stronger. So the pain in my knees, while it sucked, I've been doing it for so long. It was like it became my new norm.
I think monk mode is a very good excuse for people that are introverted to feel noble in their introversion. And it turns something which is like an aversion to going out into the world, an aversion to making friends or putting yourself in uncomfortable social situations. It turns that from something which is a flaw to something which is a virtue. And you begin to get prestige for actually not doing that thing. And so many people, there's this idea called the inner citadel by Isaiah Berlin, and it basically says that if you can't get what you want, you must teach yourself to want what you can get.
30 more steps! You keep going, Brock! Come on!
Look up, Brock. You're in the end zone.
You know, I don't know what challenges you might have in going over the stuff we've been going over in terms of amending your philosophy or going back and, redoing some stuff that you might have messed up. But face all your fears. That's how you conquer them. Don't dismiss them. Just face them. Say, here's what I'm afraid of. I wonder what I could do to change that. Here's the next one. Exercise your willpower to change direction. You don't have to keep doing what you've done the last 6 years if it's not yielding you the benefits you want. My mentor helped me to review the last 6 years so I wouldn't repeat those errors the next 6. See, if you're a goose, you have no choice to do the next 6 like you did the last 6. But if you're not a goose, here's what you can do. Pick a new destination and start going that way. You say, well, I've done this for the last 2 years. I'll probably have to do it another 2. And the answer is no, not in a million years. Now, you can change one little degree at a time, or if you want to, you can revolutionize the whole thing.
Look, I'm sorry your life turned out so bad, but don't blame me. You messed it up yourself. You just focused on the bad stuff when all you had to do was let go of the past and keep moving forward.
You look at YouTube and I see guys have Mike Tyson Immortal, Mike Tyson God, and I'm not worthy of that.
You are, Mike.
Not for somebody to praise me or anything, no. I'm always just Mike.
Can I say something?
You can say anything. I'd love for you to talk to me, brother.
You had to go through all of that so that you could change the world, dude.
Really, I don't see that. I don't know.
You don't realize how many lives you're changing, saving, because of who you are and what you've been through and how you're willing to speak about it now.
It was the beginning of this thing, or I caught that red light and therefore made me 60 seconds later to get to that cafe where I met that movie producer or that woman who became my wife or whatever that is. It don't make sense at the time, but boy, looking back, it's all a science.
There's that quote about the ironic tragedy is that life has to be lived forward but only makes sense in reverse.
Right. Yeah.
You know what happens? Most of you guys won't do the damn work. You know why? You're not disciplined. You're distracted. In this room, we will recreate you tomorrow. I will tell you this, it's not a one-day deal. It's the rest of your life deal. You make the decision to level up every single day for the rest of your life. Do you hear me? How many of you are prepared to die for what you want? How many of you are really prepared to go all in? Not care about getting embarrassed. Don't care what anyone else thinks about you. Other people are running your life. It's time for you to take back control of your life.
How to go from average to fortune. There's 5 simple steps. You might like to make a note of them. Here's the first one. Get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. I know a guy that's got a half a dozen jokes keeping him from becoming wealthy. He's not known as rich. He's known as a joker, which I guess is okay if that's the kind of life you want to live. But it really isn't the best way to live. To go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about 2 very important things. Number 1 is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. Then you have to get serious about another important subject. And that important subject is called personal development. Personal development is striving hard to become the kind of person that you want to be. 10 years from now, you will surely become someone. The big question is, who?
You have to fail. Failure is a part of the process to becoming successful. I tell people this all the time. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the world, he took 946 game-winning shots. 946 times since he was in high school, the ball has been in his hand to take the game-winning shot with no time on the clock. He has only made 146 of those. He has missed over 700 times, but he has made 146. You know what they write about? When you make it. They write about when you make it. So guess what? When you get through failing, all you got to do is make one. All you got to do is make one.
Why did you let me race with your car? You knew I was gonna wreck it. Why not?
Because
Because it's a lot of money.
I have money. It's trust and character I need around me. You know, who you choose to be around you lets you know who you are. And one car in exchange for knowing what a man's made of, that's a price I can live with. Look at all those people down there. They follow the rules for what? They're letting fear lead them.
What happens if I don't?
Life's simple. You make choices and you don't look back.
I always knew I only need one chance. I always felt I was better than everybody. All I needed was to get in there once. Just give me one shot and I'll take it home. I'll steal it every time. I felt I was ready.
It's not easy, but through practice and practice and practice, practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection. You're always bigger than what you do. And so all you're looking for are new breakthroughs through practice and practice and practice. You'll get better and better and better. And there's still some things that will happen to you that will catch you on the blind side that you did not anticipate. You'll get knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. You'll be able to get to your feet again, be on the ropes, but you'll have a fast recovery rate when you work on yourself.
Just remember, your imagination can take you wherever you want to go, from Arctic adventures to a mission to the moon. And your dreams, they can also take you anywhere you want to go as well. So now's the time to settle down, snuggle up, and sleep tight.